welcome to Business Profile TV, a look at exciting and innovative companies around the world, and we bring you their stories to enjoy and learn from. Today we've got a special guest. He's the president of Eyecon Video Production. Let's welcome Greg Kuhn. Greg, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks, Randy.
So Greg, tell me, the term video production seems sort of broad. Tell me a little bit about what Eyecon Video Production does and specializes in.
Well, that's one thing is that, we've been around for a long time, and we do a broad range types of projects and types of business and types of videos, marketing videos, training videos, corporate videos, television commercials. I mean, we've done countless television commercials, TV programming, and in the last few years, we're really specializing in web TV as well.
That's great. Now, you mentioned you've been around forever, and that term's so relative in today's kind of hot job market. 2 years is forever for some people, but I understand you kind of stand true to that. You've been doing video production for how long?
Well, you need to add a zero to that. I've been doing this for almost 20 years. And so, yeah, I'm one of the old guys in town. It's kind of scary to think about that way, but yeah, we've been around for a long time. We've done a lot of great work over the years.
Wow, 20 years. You've got to have some great stories. I'm sure you've watched the industry change. Share with us a little bit about how the last decade may have changed things.
Yeah, well, when I first started 20 years ago, it was VHS or SVHS, and Betacam was still relatively in its infancy, and then Betacam was the standard, was the broadcast standard for 10 years plus. People still use Betacam SP to this day, and then once the Betacam standard definition 4:3 screen was so prevalent, then high definition came into the market, and HD really took off, and that really changed things to a new level of quality that we could compete in the film world in many ways. And then the web came along, and so now the whole industry has changed because now a lot of the projects we're doing is on the web. So there's been a lot of changes. Oh, and then there's this 3D thing coming that people are still trying to put their fingers on as well.
Would you say that's one of the differentiating factors for you guys, that you've kept up with these changes? Your experience has kind of taught you've got to keep moving forward or you get left behind?
Yeah, actually a business philosophy of ours is, and has been from the very beginning, is we like to be on the cutting edge, but we're not going to be on the bleeding edge, if you can put it in those terms, meaning we're not going to invest thousands and thousands of dollars into a technology or a piece of equipment that may or may not take. So while we're in the cutting edge, we are also smart about how we spend money, which is one of the reasons we're still around after 20 years. There's a lot of companies that want the latest and greatest, but then they invest $100,000 and that piece of equipment is worth $2,000 after 6 months. We're not going to do that. We're going to do it the smart way, not only for ourselves, but for our clients as well.
Well, I imagine it's that 2 decades of experience prevents you from maybe jumping on the bandwagon of, like you said, trends that aren't necessarily catching on, waiting to know they're going to be an industry standard. Now, unfortunately, synonymous with cutting edge usually means huge price tags. Now, I don't know if that's the case in video, but what is the answer to that? To a company out there wondering, how much does it cost to produce a video? Where does that begin?
Well, that's the $1 million question, and I get that asked. That question's asked to me, 10 times a week. I want to produce a training video. How much does it cost? And they give no other information. Well, it's again the $1 million question. It's important to understand, what are the production parameters required to accomplish what the client has in his or her head. So I asked a lot of questions. We usually meet with the client. A great thing to do is, if the client is looking to produce a video, find a video online that has a similar look and feel of what they would like to accomplish. Obviously, their own video would be personalized for them, for their company, but at least this gives me an idea. Are they looking to produce a McDonald's commercial or a locally produced car commercial that you'll see on cable TV somewhere? And where in between? There's a million different points between those two extremes. And where is it that falls in? And a lot of it falls in on the budget that the client has to work with.
It sounds a lot like kind of car pricing, like how much is a car? Well, between a very affordable subcompact to a luxury, they all get you from point A to B, and they all communicate, or they're effective at their goal, but it's just the bells and whistles that come along with it.
Yeah, and actually the analogy I use is like, look at me as like a home builder. I can build you an outhouse and throw up a couple 2x4s, some plywood, and there's your outhouse. Or if I can build you Mark Cuban's mansion, but then I also can do all those points in between. And where in between those two extremes does that client fall? And if you've got a small budget, awesome. We can, for example, if you want to build a $100,000 home, we can build you a $100,000 home. It'll be no frills. You'll have the basics. You'll be safe, comfortable, and you'll be proud of the house, and you've got a great value for it. Or if you've got let's say a $500,000 budget to build your home, we can build you the marble staircase. We can build you use Corian on the countertops and do all those extra things, and you still get a great value for your dollar, and you're still very happy with the end product that you've got.
Now, with Business Profile TV, we find a lot of the guests we have come on, they approach production TV with almost an attitude of intimidation, and then they go through it and they find it's quite easy, and that's for the interview style. Is the production process that easy? Maybe you could walk us through a real brief production process to showcase it's not intimidating at all.
No, actually, this is what I do for a living, and but I also have a very clear understanding that for someone who's never done video or television before, they have no idea what it takes to produce a video. What are the steps? They don't even know where to begin. And so that's where my job as a producer, executive producer, I'm doing a lot of hand-holding and making sure that the client feels very comfortable about every step of the way. I keep them informed where we are, every step of the way, so they feel educated and they feel like they're part of the process. And for example, quickly going through the steps, we've got the first step is meeting with the client and understanding what the budget is, and I put out a proposal. They accept it. Then my scriptwriter will meet with the client. 2, 3, 4 days later, they'll have a version 1 of the script. The client will have the opportunity to make changes that they need to the script. Then once the script is approved, then we schedule a shoot day. I get the crew, I get the equipment, I make sure all the logistics are taken care of. That's all me. I'm taking care of all of those details.
So it's easy. And then it's very easy at this point. I mean, it's very hand-holding, I guess.
It really is. And all the client has had to do so far is just meet with me initially, then meet with the scriptwriter and feed the scriptwriter all the data. Then we're doing all the back-end work. So then during the shoot, I do have the client there with me. If I've got the monitor there and I'm looking at the shot, I want to make sure the client is there and participating in helping me during the shoot. Then after the shoot, we go into the edit bay and one of our 3 high-definition edit bays, and we do our magic there. The client does not need to be part of that. They come in at the very end because all we're doing is editing the video according to the approved script. So it really works well. The client comes in, they can put their feet up in our lounge chairs and watch the video for their company, and they give us their input on final changes, and then they walk out the door with a finished product. So it's very easy from the client perspective.
Let's go from the process to the industry as a whole. It's safe to say there's not been a single factor that's changed every business and every sector of industry like the internet, the web. How has that really changed the way an experienced veteran production house like yours handles video?
It's a game changer. It has changed everything that we do. Now, we still have to write script. You still have to shoot. You still have to edit. But how we utilize video has totally changed because of the internet. 7 years ago, the internet, if we were to produce a project for a client, for example, they would say, okay, we want a training video and also give me a version I can throw on the internet. We're now, I'd say 95% of all projects we produce primarily is for the internet. And they may have some other usage and maybe, throw a commercial on television or something. But almost everything we do is now for the internet because the internet is where everybody goes to find any kind of information about anything. And video is a big part of that.
That's great. One thing Business Profile TV likes to do is we like to make our viewers better customers for companies like yours. So do you have a few tips for a first-time business that's about to produce a commercial, a web video, any kind of media project? As they enter into it, what are a couple things they can do to be better prepared and be a better client?
Just do a little bit of homework. Go to the internet. Look out, search out video production companies in your area. Um, anyone with $1,000 camera and $1,000 laptop computer can spray on a sign on the front of their apartment door, and they're suddenly a video production company. Make sure that the company that you choose is a reputable one. Make sure they've won some national awards. Make sure that they've done videos along the lines of what you want to produce. Look at the past videos they've produced. Call their old clients or current clients. What is it like to work with them? One thing I'll guarantee you, someone will always do it for cheaper. And if you go by price alone, you will be disappointed. Because, I mean, when I was first starting, I would do videos for free, just for the experience. And I look back and 20 years later, I'm like, ooh, gosh, that was pretty bad what I did when I first started. So videos, especially on the internet, and well, videos represent your company. They're your face. And when you play that video represents your company, your brand. And you want to make sure that the video is at least a level of quality that is exactly what you want it to be and nothing less.
Well, Greg, I'm sold. If some of our viewers out there have questions, how can they find you guys?
You can find us on the internet, as we've been talking about.
Imagine
www.eyeconvideo.com. That's EYECONVIDEO.com.
Well, Greg, big thanks for joining us, answering some of our questions about video. And guys, gals, if you want to learn more about exciting and innovative companies like this, check out businessprofiletv.com. We'll see you next time.